her so I can be like, Alexa, just please be quiet. And then that'll just cue the stop, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't say that right now.
Let's do it right now. Alexa, keep playing. Let's see. Here we go. All right, let's see. Alexa, please just be quiet. Oh my goodness. Michael Wang, you are a genius, my friend.
Yeah, as someone in Conversational AI, I figured that would be something they would have coded in.
Oh, thank you so much. We're putting Mike Wang on the best friends list. I'm so excited. Yes. All right. I wish I'm going to go look up some sort of, is there an index on the Alexa site with all the commands?
That's a great question. I doubt it, only because if there were, there'd probably just be hundreds of thousands of things to scroll through.
That is true.
And I don't know. I think for them, like, it's nice that it has a little bit of mystery to it. Like sometimes I ask, so I have an Alexa at home. Sometimes I ask it like random things just to see if it has an answer for it. And it's sometimes I'm just like really pleasantly surprised. Like I asked it what its favorite Game of Thrones character was, and it had this like whole elaborate answer.
What? Who do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, it's Daenerys. And you know how I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but
yeah,
you know how Daenerys has like this whole title where it's like Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, like all these things.
Oh, she's the mother of the dragons?
Yeah, yeah. So Alexa like lists out her entire title, and it's clearly Alexa is a Game of Thrones fan.
Oh, like her 70 surnames?
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually, she's my favorite too.
There you go. We have something in common.
We do. That's so interesting. Yeah, I like the dragons. I thought that they should just take her and the dragons and make their own show.
You know what? That would be a great spinoff.
Yeah.
Given that they don't, that they survive the series.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm sure the writers could figure it out.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
They could do some crazy stuff. Dude, so Bowtie, beautiful website, man.
Thank you.
Like, I really enjoy when I see clean design. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, it's you can thank my partner who's has a lot of experience in design, so he takes the lead on the design stuff.
And then what's your role?
So I am more on the AI side, more the back end development, the architecture of the system, that sort of thing. And the meat of the bot, and he does more of the front end, UX, UI. He built the Android app, the iOS app, the business facing tool, the web widget that we have. And so it's pretty good, dichotomy of skills.
Did you guys have to build the whole web widget from scratch, from the ground up, or did you build on like an existing open source project?
No, we built everything pretty much in our entire platform from the ground up.
Oh, nice. I figured. I'm sorry. Go
ahead. We use open source here and there for as libraries for processing and like test suite and that sort of thing. But the proprietary stuff is all ours.
Yeah, see, I've seen so many of these chat things, and I haven't looked, but I wondered if there was some really popular open source project already that is the baseline of it, because everyone's just rebuilding the same thing over and over with sockets and like the chat interface and the embedding of it, and these same things being built over and over. Whenever that happens historically, eventually some open source project comes out that gets really popular, and then people can build on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of tools out there, especially for chatbots, that sort of cropped up as part of the whole Facebook bringing chatbots into the public spotlight and sort of pushing that. There's API.ai, lots of things out there. And one of the questions that we get when we tell our idea to people is on the tech side is, do you use any of those? And if not, I usually say, we don't. And then the next question is, why not? Um, and I think those platforms are great if you're building sort of a one-off bot that sort of fits into more of a question answer scheme and may be more of a branded sort of experience. But for us, there's a lot of flexibility and customization that we need um, as a platform to onboard individual businesses and to have it really be a personalized sort of conversational experience for our customers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a smart decision. It's not a lot of basic stuff. Like, it wasn't a huge build to get the basic chat functionality back and forth, and all the freedom you get from having rolled your own is worth it in that context. I've actually built a chat system that no AI involved with it, but it was a chat system that you could embed, and then you could send it documents back and forth for signature, and it actually integrated with a document repository system, so you could search files that you had on your server and then send them for signature, and you could go back, do signature from the chat directly. So that was kind of, so I've had that experience
That's awesome.
of building that base.
Yeah, that's great. I think for me, like having been in the space now, sometimes when I um, come up with little ideas for side projects or whatever, it's almost like I just gravitate towards chat as a medium because one, it's like really easy to spin up something really quickly, and it's you can instantly basically deploy access to your app or platform to all these outlets and channels that people already use. So recently, I like was getting into the whole cryptocurrency Bitcoin craze, and I wanted like an alert system to tell me when there was price movement and whatnot. And so what I did was I built an alert bot that just sent me messages anytime one of my alerts triggered, or if there was like a spike in prices or something. And I don't know, just the use case just fits a lot of things really, really nicely, and other things not so nicely.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the messaging and the interaction. Of course, now we're seeing it with the voice and now with the bots. So when I was on your site, it was really clear. I like how you describe the value. So not just the graphics, but the communication of the flow of everything. And so are you guys looking to just dominate like the sort of hairdresser nail salon space, or what's your goal?
Yeah, great question. So we see conversational AI and sort of this, uh, you know, platform for communicating with businesses as a the future looking vision is to provide a way for people to interact with businesses in an automated fashion at scale and through natural conversation.
Mhm.
And so taking a look at this space, there's a lot of different players. A lot of them are going after call centers and sort of just trying to automate, support conversations and things like that. Um, that's very, very difficult because the breadth of the things that people can ask for over just a generic support chat is just enormous. Um, and um, and you'd have to build a customized solution for every individual business. So what we saw was that in the appointment space, there's such commonality across the interactions with business between customers and businesses in this space. And so, if you're booking a haircut at a salon here, another customer is booking a haircut at a salon there, and their interactions are largely the same, apart from certain differences like maybe the services are different or the staff members. Um, but a lot of that is transferable across businesses, and even from nail salons to beauty salons to massage parlors to spas. And then eventually what we want to do is break into other verticals sort of like on a sequential basis. So we're starting off in this area because um, we see salons and spas as sort of the optimal niche in the sense that right now how people book appointments are largely over the phone. So 80% of appointments in the salon and spa space are booked over the phone. And that's because it's difficult to do it online because people have questions, people want to book back-to-back appointments, and it's sort of much easier to do it over a conversation. And we see that as a behavior that it sort of already exists, and we can sort of just transfer that into this automated conversational channel. And people are already texting with salons on sort of a manual basis. So they'll text their stylists or the salon to get an appointment set up. And so the behavior already exists. That's sort of why we're starting in this space. But again, eventually we want to break into other verticals. So we're looking at auto, dentists, real estate, even like, booking a plumber. And so really any appointment-based business is in our purview in terms of the grand vision.
Nice. Yeah, when I started talking with you before we got on a call, like when we were emailing back and forth, I went and had my haircut, and I asked my hairdresser, like, how much of her appointments she books through text. She says, like most of them. She wished all of them, but her clientele is there's a lot of older people. Yeah. So she's like, all the younger people, yeah. She goes, anyone under 40 and 40 or 50, she goes, yeah, we're texting all the time. She goes, anyone over 55 or whatever, they're just wanting to call and leave voicemails and stuff. I was like, all right, cool. So she said she wished it was all. And she said she doesn't like the website because she likes the real-time interaction of having to watch her schedule adjust and make those decisions and who she wants to put where. But then I asked her about your situation. I was like, do you miss a lot? She goes, yeah. She goes, I do miss a lot because I can't be texting while I'm the 30 minutes while I'm cutting someone's hair, or the hour while I'm cutting someone's hair. I can't, it's rude for me to be on that. I have to be paying attention to them. So she sees her phone going on, or she has to mute her phone and everything. So she goes, yeah, it does, because sometimes people get frustrated and they'll go on to the next appointment. And so then I told her about what you guys were doing, and she's like, oh, that's amazing. She was really pumped about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's sort of the hair on fire problem that we're solving, is that these artists are doing their work, and they're helping customers in the store. Even the places that have a receptionist, they're greeting customers, they're bringing them a glass of champagne, they're checking people in and out. And so when the phone is just ringing off the hook, they can't manage all of that incoming. And so we're sort of taking that off their plate. The transactional stuff that is really easily sort of just done over AI. The idea is to like give them back their time, so they don't have to worry about those inbound requests coming in, because right now it's like a really stressful, like if you've ever just like sat at the front desk of a salon and like watched them throughout the day, it's just like it's like chaos.
So do you do that? Do you involve them in the product and go watch them like use your system while they're working? And how do you involve your customers in your product development?
Yeah, we like to talk to our customers a lot. So we have like just essentially taken out days and sat next to them and just sort of watched them. Like we usually come in with the intention of like interviewing them about like a new feature that we want to do. So we're in New York, and there's a bunch of our clients are sort of right in the area. So we can actually just take a 15-minute trip and hang out and sort of get their feedback on something that we're working on. And so we do that fairly often. And in addition to that, we're constantly emailing back and forth just because they have like questions about this and that. And then that's also sort of a place where we occasionally just interject and it's like, oh, like that seems like a problem that you're having. Like, what if we did this? And then, there's a constant conversation between us and them. And I think because we have like a fairly personal relationship with our clients, just because every individual client that we bring on is sort of, we sort of handhold them through the process, and we're on the phone with them and importing their menu and getting an idea of why they bought the product and what they want to get out of it. And so, yeah, we definitely try to involve them pretty heavily in everything we do.
Man, I love hearing that you are doing the right things. Like this is what it is. This is what the companies that are successful do. And you'd be, I don't know, would you be surprised to find out that like most of the companies that fail, they don't do this stuff at all?
Yeah, I hope we're doing the right thing. And I would not be surprised to find that out at all. We actually just finished reading a book called Customer Success.
Okay.
Um, and that talks a lot about sort of following up with your customers and making sure they're getting value out of your product. And I think one of the interesting things was like, rather than sort of measuring the time to onboard, measure the time to value
Ooh,
for a customer.
I love that, man. That sounds good. That's like a real like measure the time to value. So,
Yeah,
do you know Bruno Attore?
yeah, I do.
What?
I listened to we're colleagues from Cornell Tech.
Yeah.
I listened to your podcast with him. It was a great episode.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was so awesome. I saw on the notes here, we were all talking about you before the cast, and we're like, oh, he went to Cornell. Does he know Bruno? This must be amazing. So
Yeah.
you guys are both in New York City,
Yep.
and you both have a similar background. You met at Cornell, and then you're both in New York City doing your startups. So do you see him like regularly? Like you guys like friends?
So we're both really busy guys, and I'm sure you got from uh, speaking to him that he works like crazy
Yeah.
amounts, as do I, and so we both like keep in touch with the Cornell Tech community, and that's one of the things that I really love about Cornell Tech is that they really maintain a strong alumni network, and so also we were like the third class CS class at Cornell Tech.
Hmm.
Um, and so there weren't too many of us, so we all sort of keep in touch, and we have like monthly happy hours and stuff like that where we hang out.
How would you say that that program is? Did you learn a lot of stuff that is very useful in your professional life, or did you just get exposed to many different topics? Like, what's your takeaway from the CS program there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have an endless amount of good things to say about Cornell Tech. I think for me, like it really sort of sparked my journey into entrepreneurship, or at least sort of made it real. Um, so I never really even considered doing anything like entrepreneurial until about halfway through college. And so I interned at some fairly large companies like Amazon and LinkedIn. And um, so I kind of got the view of the corporate side, and I became interested in, okay, now I know what that looks like. And, I don't necessarily see myself sitting at that desk for the next few years of my life. And then I got exposed at Cornell Tech, at Cornell, um, to this program called LifeSaving Labs, where they have a bunch of like student startups. And I got involved with this startup that was like run by these sophomores, and I was a junior at the time. And I was just like, whoa, like these guys and girls are like going out and building whatever they want and like just making this awesome thing happen. And I was like, whoa, like entrepreneurship is really cool. So then um, so when I graduated, I was like, I wanted to sort of dive into that. But at the same time, like I had no idea what to do. And then Cornell Tech came up, and it was like this intersection between tech and entrepreneurship in New York City. Uh, and the whole idea was like, let's get you hands-on experience, like bring in entrepreneurs and investors and technologists in the community, and let's basically teach you how to like make products and startups. And so that's why I did Cornell Tech. And honestly, I think it fulfilled like all of that. It totally fulfilled its promise.
So, so you really like Cornell, right? You did the LifeSaving Labs program. You got experience into what it was like to create and or create to solve problems, or like to create things and solve problems all day. Then
Yeah,
it's like
created some problems.
you created some problems, solved some problems, and then you got like sort of the cinematic, like go to New York City, learn to build product. Like it's a very cool story. Like I like it, you know. And so,
Thanks.
what's sort of a day look like for you now? Like how hard are you working?
Yeah, I mean, for the three of us founders at Bowtie, this is like our life, you know.
Yeah.
So we wake up, you know. So at this point, you know, it's been a long journey getting here. At this point, we have like a nice set of paying customers. We have close to 50 customers, sort of throughout the U.S., and we're growing that quickly. Um, and so right now for us, it's just a matter of growing that out and making sure our clients really, really love the product. Um, and so, yeah,
Well,
I mean,
that's solid.
I basically code all day. Uh, that's the real answer.
Cool. So
Um,
you're actively programming most of the day as a CTO.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
As
And then what are your other two founders doing? Like what are their responsibilities?
Yeah, so there's two of us are developers, my partner Vivek and I, and so it's sort of a front end, back end sort of distribution of responsibilities there. He also does a lot of the customer onboarding and the UX and that sort of thing. Ron, our CEO, he does, you know, all the business development, sales, marketing, more sales, lots of sales. And customer support, you know, all the good um, relationship management stuff. So yeah, I think out of the gate, like our team had a really good sort of complementary skill set, and that's one of the things I really love about working with them.
Yeah, I really like how lean you guys are and how big you look on your website. It looks really good. You're really lean. You're communicating with your customers. And are you guys just naturally brilliant, or do you guys have some mentors that are guiding you in the right direction?
Yeah, we have a lot of mentors and advisors that we have to be very grateful for along the way. Um, really grateful for our investors. So we've been part of a few accelerators. Out of the gate, we were at Friends of eBay, where we spent a few months, and we met some pretty cool people there. Alana Gregory, who was running a beauty startup at the time, she was actually the one who sort of nudged us in the direction of beauty appointments. At the time, we were like sort of doing something pretty different. It was like food ordering over text. Um, Still in the realm of conversational AI, but we were nudged into beauty, and then we sort of took a look at the space, took a step back, um, you know, interviewed a bunch of people, and then dove into it. But so she's been really helpful along the way, just giving us a great perspective on the space. And then we went to Newark Venture Partners, another accelerator out in Newark. They're in the Audible building. Um, and we met a couple of our investors there who have been really helpful, sort of connecting us with potential partners and just giving us advice on uh, fundraising and such. And they also have like a sales advisor here that we've been talking to a lot about, you know, how to sell to small to medium sized enterprises, the strategies, how to communicate the vision and the product, and to sort of mirror their language and frame our solution in terms of the problems that they're having. So
So
yeah, definitely a lot of help along the way.
I saw on your site you had a blog and you had like a little bit of content. Who's writing that content?
Yeah, so Ron is doing a lot of the content marketing stuff right now, and we all sort of he puts together the content, and then we also take a look at it and edit it, um, and make it much better. So it's kind of a team effort.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you guys gonna do more content writing? Because I saw one article I really liked it. You had some funny like little memes in it and stuff, and I was thinking you're really gonna pick up traffic when people are searching for that.
Yeah, he's a big fan of the GIFs and the
They're funny, dude. It was relatable, and
pictures.
honestly, the people, your target audience, is going to respond to that so well because hairdressers are usually really fun people.
Yeah, definitely. They when we talk to them on the phone, it's like they bring so much energy, and you can just tell they're smiling all the time.
Oh yeah,
So
they just talk to strangers and cut their hair all day, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, they're so warm and like lively.
I love it. So, how did like what's the story of how you three came together?
Yeah, so we all met at Cornell Tech. Well,
Oh,
so
okay.
let's see. I met both of them at Cornell Tech. Vivek and Ron actually worked together for 4 years
Mhm.
before Cornell Tech. Interestingly enough, they both applied separately to the program, and then on like the first day, they found out that they both got in. Um, so they knew each other. I met them there. I had done a few projects with Vivek throughout our time there, and we just like our work styles just like gelled really, really well.
Mhm.
We became really good friends, and then um, the second semester, I think Bruno mentioned this, but there's like this startup studio program led by David Tisch, and we all did that together, and grew the idea as part of that, and then spun out as a company.
That's awesome. And you guys all get along really well. Do you hang out like does it just blend your whole day and then being outside of work? And is it just all this big bow tie blend?
Yeah, it was definitely a big bow tie blend in my life. But yeah, so we all sort of we spend way too much time together.
Right.
Um, and yeah, we all like to take our time off here and there, so we like stagger our vacation time such that like each of us during the holidays might take a few days off, and then we sort of take time off as we need
Yeah,
to
because
get away from each
none
other.
of you are from New York, right?
I think Ron is from New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of family in New York, up in Westchester.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute train ride from the city.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
pretty
You
fun.
can go visit whenever you want.
Thank you. I yeah, no, I'm going to be up there. I've through the podcast, I've made, I don't know, 10 to 15 friends that are like right in New York City. So I'm gonna set it up, and I think it's like March into February, March or April. Inside of one there, I'm gonna be there for probably about 10 days, and I'm gonna just go around and like go say hi to everybody, like be like, "What up?" Come by for like an hour and be like, "Mike, it's so crazy! Like you were on my show, and now you're like I can see you as a human." It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and then we'll get Bruno too.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a whole modern CTO powwow.
Hey, have you ever seen that show, The Office?
Oh, of course. I
Okay,
mean,
so
who hasn't, right?
right, so every time I hear anybody from Cornell, all I think about is that.
Andy.
Oh yeah, it's like everybody loves Cornell. I haven't met anyone or seen anyone from Cornell that wasn't enthusiastic about the school.
Yeah. Um, you mean Cornell, like Ithaca Cornell?
Was that a different? Did he go to a different Cornell?
Yeah. So Cornell Tech is in New York City. It's like the 1 year grad program.
Oh, really? So
Um,
I'm lost here. So it's not. Is it associated with the
it
other?
is. It is.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Cornell Tech is the grad program. Cornell is in Ithaca. Cornell undergrad. I went to both,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm like double big red for life.
Yeah. There. Yes, Big Red. Yeah, I'm learning so much right now. This is
Yeah, there
great.
you go.
Okay, so how many years until your AI bot starts writing its own code?
That's I just polished up the self-awareness module
Oh, great, great,
last
great.
week, so should be a few months now.
Excellent. I hope I
I'm just
hope
kidding.
I hope you wrote some tests, man. Oh man,
Yeah, programmed in some maybe benevolence, and uh, yeah, it's a big topic right now in AI is the alignment problem. It's like when we get to that sort of AGI level, how do we make sure the robot overlords, have the same values as us?
I think that we create a pure AI overlord where we can like it's offline and isolated, where we teach it only good things, and then we just focus on that detached from the whole network AI, and we treat it to be very good, and then it ends up battling the evil AI.
I think that would be a very nice picture of the future. I think that's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
Right, cool. Because everyone says, how do we stop it? How do we stop it? And I'm sitting here with as much as we both know about technology and how code actually works and how much it could actually spread, right? Like it could go everywhere and put copies of itself everywhere. The amount that it could do would be insane, right? If it were evil, that'd be horrible, right? But the solution, if we either focus everything, I think it would be silly to put 100% of our pie on like preventing it from happening. I think we should take a chunk of our pie and say, well, let's just assume it's going to happen, and let's find out a way to create our own like pure AI overlord to battle it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I was just listening to another podcast about this with Sam Harris and Eliezer. He was from the Machine Intelligence Research Institute. He was talking about how in the future it's pretty much inevitable that we're going to create some sort of super intelligence, assuming we don't blow ourselves up. But his main concern, I think the concern of a lot of people out there who really see this as a big problem, is that the good AI that is going to help us, fight the bad AI, if that is a thing, is going to be just a little bit harder to create. So his thing was like, well, I'm not concerned that we're not able to create a good, benevolent AI. It's like aligned with our values. It's more so that is going to take 2 years longer than it takes to create an AI that is not concerned about human welfare. And so that's why there's a lot of effort in sort of making sure that we don't follow the trend of history and put the safety guards in 2 years after the thing is made.
That is very true. And I love the very Elon Musk of, unless we blow ourselves up, we'll become interplanetary, unless if we blow ourselves up in between. Like that's the default like view of the thing I hear constantly in the technology in the future. Yeah, we'll get there unless if we blow ourselves up.
Yeah, it's a real concern, with the current political climate. But stay positive. Stay positive.
Yeah, we should just get all the smart, like logical humans together, right? And just create this like anti-blowing ourselves up strategy, where we create this maybe this AI whose sole purpose is to keep us from blowing ourselves up.
Hey, sign me up for that. I think
Right?
that's a great thing to exist in the world.
So we actually have a question from the live stream, if that's cool.
Yeah, go for it.
We have an individual who is from this startup called Book and Meet, and they're an online appointment scheduling platform based in India, right? For India. And he wants to know, when it comes to adaptability and localization, like how do we do that, like for your AI?
Yeah. So we sort of have our philosophy is that the platform should be general enough so that there's a lot of commonality across the AI, so that we can save a lot of the functionality across the businesses that we integrate with. But at the same time, a lot of the businesses that we integrate with have tons of custom needs. Like they need to tweak the language here and there. Like some of them call their staff members staff, some of them call them technicians, some of them call them therapists. And they all have, some of them need to let people know the cancellation policy when they book. Others have like other individual messages. So we have all these like little slots and places where we can customize messaging for individual businesses. And so that's how we're adapting the conversational AI to sort of different contexts and requirements. As far as localization, I think that's a difficult problem because the language is just so different in different, well, the structure and the meaning of language and how you learn a user's intent is different across different languages. And so right now we're just focusing on English, and we'll have to think about how eventually to expand that.
Yeah, so you guys will own the English space. They will own the space of India, and then you can get together and form some sort of global superpower partnership with chat and figure out the
Yeah, there we go.
localization together. It's amazing.
Conglomerate.
So I stalked your Twitter just a teeny bit at first. Love that Bezos Amazon picture, right? And
Yeah,
we still haven't, we moved into our office. We still haven't changed our sign either. And I think we're at the point where it's just becoming unacceptable. So I think we're going to get that taken care of this week. We keep hiring people and like building. So it's a lot of fun. And then did you get to watch the launch live yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I felt like I was literally looking into the future.
Me too.
When the two boosters like landed on the platform, I was like, is this live stream of like real life, or is this like a video game?
It did feel like a highly realistic animated segment of a video game, like before they let you have control of the scene,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it made me happy. Like I was very happy about it. So usually when we wrap up, we ask about the past, but so much future talk today. We actually had a futurist on this morning who just goes around the world and teaches CEOs about what is happening in the future and how to position your company accordingly, right? So in that feeling, in that tone, I want to know what you think the next big change in the next 5 years is going to be for technology. What are we going to see?
It's just technology in general.
Anything. You just tickle your imagination and like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of areas where we're going to see big changes. I'm still very pro AR. I'm very pro conversational AI. I'm pro voice. I'm pro blockchain. It's hard to just point to one thing. I think all of those things are going to sort of happen at the same time.
It's interesting. So we're eating lunch, and Jackie, who is brand new to the team, it was right before your call, like 45 minutes ago, and she asked about the next 5 years, and me and Jake like spouted off AR, the conversational chats, and voice. Like that's what our answers were.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Welcome to the team, Mike.
Yeah, if I were to pick one, I mean, I have to go with conversational AI. How could I not? I think, and that includes voice too. I think the way we communicate with technology is so disparate right now. It's like, you have like probably 50 plus apps on your phone. You're like typing things in looking at things on drop downs, like pressing buttons, and it's all like sort of just super random. But language is just universal. And so when I think about like in the future, like how we're going to communicate with technology, like the real elegant solution, I imagine like we're going to have a little implant in our vocal cords or whatever. We're just gonna be able to like whisper stuff to our personal assistant, which is gonna just do everything on our behalf. And so as a universal sort of channel for communicating with our digital friends, I think voice and conversation is going to be king. And unless Elon finishes his neural link stuff.
Oh, you beat me to my notes. I type as you talk, and I'm like, is he gonna go Musk neural net here? Like, or is that too like, is that gonna happen? So
hey, I have a lot of faith in that guy.
Dude, well, clearly, like, how can you not? Like, just look at what he's accomplished in all the different industries. So, and then he's also, funding that AI project for the safety in the sense Have you checked that out at all? The AI thing
Yeah,
that he found?
OpenAI.
Yeah. Oh, OpenAI. Yeah. So I'm pumped to see what comes of that. Now I think I believe in all of this stuff, and it is, but I think we're gonna get surprised. And I think something's gonna happen in like the materials or the processing, because I feel like it's been a while since we had like a big processing breakthrough, like a totally new
Hmm.
material or a totally new way of doing things. Like I just think some scientist in some lab is gonna trip on something, and like now, right? Like all of a sudden we have the microwave. Like if you've ever looked up the story of the microwave, like I think something is gonna happen. I think all of these things are and will happen, and they are the future. But I think we're gonna get a little bonus. I think we're gonna unlock some sort of secret level, get a little hidden gem of some sort of materials or processing breakthrough.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would not be surprised if we were surprised. um, and
Exactly.
I was just talking to my partner about this, and we were talking about sort of the same topic, and he was like, nobody predicts what actually happens. Um, before flight was invented, the guy who was closest to in the field to that space, to that industry, predicted that flight would be 50 years out. And same with like computing, and it just all happens so fast. And like even with apps, like nobody, like the App Store didn't exist before like 2008, right?
Right.
And I don't think anybody was like, oh, the next like big technological revolution is going to be we're going to have apps in our phone, and you're going to be able to like book flights from your phone and whatnot. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, like we could have some sort of speed of our internet go up, right? We could have different processing. A lot of different things could happen, which is why I am so pumped about the future.
Yeah, I just saw an article about these guys at MIT who apparently are working on this new chip that, instead of using ones and zeros like a binary sort of thing, it tries to model the neural synapse of our brains. So there's like some sort of gradient, um, like activation function like built into the chip, it's to the hardware itself.
Yeah.
So that I don't know, that could be cool. I don't know if it works.
Yeah, I think there's so many great things. Well, here's another thing that just popped into my head. You know, so you know a lot of smart people. I know a lot of smart people. But if I took all the smart people that I know, let's say 150, right? Like really smart people. And then you took all the smart people you know, let's say it's 150. Let's just pretend. So now we got 300 smart people. And if we imagined like what would happen if we got all those smart and creative people like together on one project, that's only 300 people. So like they're all out there solving their own problems right now. Think of it like little processors of this giant human earth computer. And then just take a step back and realize how many people there actually are on this planet. And then all of a sudden, the likelihood of something coming out of the side and surprising us and just revolutionizing the entire world doesn't seem that far off.
Yeah, totally. I think shared a shared goal is the best way to accomplish anything, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you can be a really smart person, but two slightly less smart people can probably outdo you in almost anything.
Right. And 7 billion people can surprise the hell out of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, for your time today. I'll definitely let you know when I'm up there in New York. Stop by, say hello or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was great talking with you.